Welcome back, ladies and gents. Today, God, dude, let me tell you, I've been hit with 3 copyright strikes in the past day. And, yeah, so 2 for my Godzilla. The first one I understand, the second one I don't. So that's editing right now. And then I had a Teen Titans one, which I'm doing right now. And that was like 45 minutes long, the original one I made. That got struck down too. And so we're just going to use web pages today. Fuck you and your music and everything else like that. So today's topic is why I feel Teen Titans, the original one from 2003 to 2006, deserves a season 6. And so we'll get into a little background here. We'll keep up that tab, but we'll get into a little bit of history of Teen Titans, the TV show, for anybody that wasn't aware. So it aired from 2003 to 2006 on Cartoon Network. And let's see here. It's obviously a fictional superhero team appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. You have obviously there's different iterations of Teen Titans, but in this iteration you have, yeah, that's all of that, all that fun stuff. I guess I should go to just the TV show. So in this iteration it has it has Robin as the main, it has Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg, interesting, as the 5 main characters in this show. And so it takes place in Jump City, which is pretty much the iteration of, I believe, San Francisco. I can look it up. But you have yourself your T tower, and yeah, we'll kind of delve into this. So it premiered on Cartoon Network on July 19th, 2003, and also premiered on Kids WB. Initially, only 4 seasons were planned, but the popularity of the series led to Cartoon Network ordering a 5th season, and that's what they ended up on. The final half-hour episode of the show, Things Change, aired on January 16th, 2006. It was later followed by a TV movie, Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, which is a fantastic movie. It's really good, really gives you a feel for the culture of Japan and a lot of stuff like that. That premiered on September 15th, 2006, serving as the series finale. Teen Titans became one of Cartoon Network's most beloved and critically acclaimed series, renowned for its character development and series themes. And throughout this video, I'll kind of break it down. I'll break down the characters. I'll break down the morals of it, the in-depth character writing, the serious themes, but while also balancing kind of lightheartedness and kind of the impact that it has on people outside of the realm of the television, like what they bring into reality. And during its run, the series was nominated for 3 Annie Awards and 1 Motion Picture Sound Editors Award. Spin-off media included comics, DVD releases, video games, music albums, etc., etc. There was reruns. And then obviously, for anybody who's more familiar with what it is nowadays, they had a spin-off, Teen Titans Go, which uses the chibi effect art style. And it's much more, it's just humor. There's not really deep themes to it. There's not really any critical thinking or really in-depth life lessons in it. And part of me hates it for the fact that when they started Teen Titans Go, they still have pretty much the same writers. You can see, well, I'm kind of in the way. You can see that they have all the same voices. They still have Scott and Tara and Greg. They still have all the same voice actors. So it's not like you can't have Beast Boy or Starfire or Tara or Raven, like you have, or Robin. You have all the same people for it. But a lot of it was due to, well, I'll pause my thought there. I'll finish reading the rest of this and then we'll go. After almost 5 years since the last reruns in October 2012, the Teen Titans returned to Cartoon Network for reruns in August 7th, 2017. And the reason why I'm talking about why Teen Titans deserves a season 6 and deserves that closure for those people who have been waiting 15 years. I've been waiting 15 years. Like all these years since the start. Well, I guess it would be 12 years since that's when it ended. But still, 12 years is nothing to scoff about. But this all spawned at the end credit scenes for Teen Titans Go to the movies that recently came out on July 27th. This is filmed on July 30th. That recently came out. There's a post-credit scene where it shows the original Titans, and they say we need to let everybody know that we're still here. And the same art style and everything else like that from the original. So hopefully they're coming back. And I know that there was times when Cartoon Network would randomly insert the older Teen Titans show into random time slots to see how it would do with viewership and ratings, and it went absolutely through the roof. I think the biggest problem a lot of people have nowadays with Teen Titans Go is that it's very lowbrow. It's very low-hanging fruit. There's not really any serious character development. There's none of it. It's all thrown out the window. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's just what it is. That's just how the style is. And you have debates about the longevity of Cartoon Network, and some people say it was from 1992 to 2008, and then after that the style kind of went away, except for maybe like and people will argue about how styles like Adventure Time and stuff like that, where it's a lot more just comedy centric and you don't have maybe not as serious themes, or stuff that could be more complex, because you could have silly over the top things like Codename Kids Next Door, but you can also have things like the original Ben 10, Teen Titans. You can also just have goofball things like Ed, Edd n Eddy. You could have all those things, and I think that's something that Cartoon Network, growing up with all these people and growing up at essentially as its own, was able to do something so good, because it was it was at a time with Time Warner Cable and bringing in their library of all of this older stuff with Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, all that other stuff, all that material at the time, the Jetsons, etc., the Flintstones. And so they would just keep playing reruns of that kind of stuff. And there's some fantastic videos. Like I don't have the editing skill. I don't have the facade to make it flow coherently and just like, ooh, like it hits you right in the feels and you really think about it all. But at the time, Cartoon Network was just a library of all the old TV shows that used to go on. But then finally they started putting out new stuff and trying to bring in more demographic of people, as opposed to just like one base and then that's it. So they tried a bunch of things, and then as that went on, they decided to move their older library of Hanna-Barbera stuff to Boomerang, which for me was, Cartoon Network was $2.96, Boomerang was $2.97. They're right there, right next to it. Always used to watch both of them all the time. And so they moved their older library stuff over there and played their newer IPs and their newer properties on Cartoon Network to see how it would work. And then you have stuff that spawned from it, like Adult Swim, where you had people laid up at night for more adult-centric content, whether if that was Birdman, Attorney Outlaw, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Robot Chicken, like anything like that. You had all of that. And so you had developments of stuff like that, and then you had developments of things like Toonami, where especially at the time, and I'll preference this, if you want to like know a history more about like Toonami or Adult Swim and stuff like that, watch Captain with a K, Captain Christian with a K also on YouTube. He has 2 fantastic, amazing videos. Highly recommend them if you're interested in the backgrounds of either of those. But Toonami brought in a lot of foreign stuff from Japan, because a lot of, well, I mean, for a lot of people growing up, you would have all these Japanese properties or these Eastern culture shows that that had a lot of Western. They were very what's the word I'm looking for? Heavily Western influence to it, and so you would just know it as shit, dude. I have no coherent thought about it right now. Speed Racer and whatever the fuck his name is, but it was very heavily Western influenced, and Toonami tried to take a step further in trying to bring more to kids around the world, and show them all this stuff that they're 4 or 5 generations behind, that a lot of other Eastern countries were way ahead of. Like, they completely surpassed everybody and all that stuff. They were way on top of Dragon Ball Z all the time, Full Metal Alchemist, like all of that stuff. Berserk, and that's probably why a lot of people, when they look for something that really impacted Western culture, and when it comes to anime, and anime is not a genre, it's a style, and it's a very broad umbrella, because there's so many different styles in it that it can range from Teen Titans to Sailor Moon to Hunter x Hunter, to just across the board. It can go any direction with it. And I think a lot of people envision Bebop Cowboy as like the first influencer into this genre, and so that's what a lot of people really attach to, and as opposed to just being treated like a child with all just this like kind of like the Hanna-Barbera stuff. A lot of it, like, there's no real character development. It's very cliche. It's not in-depth story or anything like that. And a lot of these shows that were brought over from Japan, China, and all those other places, I want to say thank you very much. Oh shit, thank you very much, because without that, I would be, you expanded my vision to a whole different degree with all of these things that was put into Western TV, into the Western televisions, and I'd like to thank you for all of that. And so for me growing up, it was I would kind of watch a little bit of this and that, but I never really watched anything that had a lot of character development or a lot of darker themes to it, because I was just a child. But when Teen Titans first came out, I believe it always came out on Friday for me, and it was 6:30, and I would always go to my friend Bryn's house, because she would always have everybody over to watch the brand new episode of Teen Titans, and I would do that every single week. I never missed a day. I never did. And whenever there was a rerun of Teen Titans on, I absolutely watched it. I absolutely did. And so I think it definitely had a big impact on people because, you know, you can be impacted by a lot of things, whether if it is TV shows, music, sports, and anything else, other people. And so it had a ginormous impact on me. But so when this post-credit scene from Teen Titans Go to the movies came out, people were flipping out about it. And if anybody who has watched the show, well, I'll get to you in a second. Anybody who hasn't watched the show, if you're interested, please go watch it. You can find it just for free online or any streaming services and stuff like that. Please go watch it. It's a fantastic show. I guarantee you. If you're into character development, sometimes darker themes, yes, but it has a good balance of having darker themes and stuff that's more meaningful, but also being lighthearted, wholesome, funny, absurd at times. It has a good balance of it. And so that's why so many people enjoyed shows like Teen Titans. They enjoyed Young Justice. They enjoyed these shows. And that art style and that kind of storytelling, for the most part, at least for Cartoon Network, has kind of disappeared because the demographic nowadays is it is a lot more dumber in a way. I feel like it's just humor, and you don't obtain anything from it. It's just entertainment. It doesn't tell you a better story. A good TV show or a good movie is something that entertains you. A great TV show or a great movie is something that impacts you. Something that you take away and you actually bring that into reality. That's what a great show does. And that's what Teen Titans does. And so it was abruptly canceled after its fifth season, and nobody really knew why. Some people say that the executives didn't want to pick up a sixth season because they didn't like the storyline for it. Others say that it might have been due to toy sales and stuff like that. And that's I'll vent to you right now about this, and I understand it's a business. Like, that's the whole goal. That was the goal of Cartoon Network maybe growing up, and that's the goal for most entities out there, is money. And that's the driving factor. But I feel they're doing a disservice to themselves when you have something that can truly impact people on a level that you can't envision, where you can impact me and you can impact somebody who's watching the same thing as me on the other side of the planet. It's just an amazing concept. And if it was due to the fact of them not having enough revenue, because a lot of shows nowadays are centered around sales or trying to sell toys. Like, a good example is in Star Wars, the Last Jedi. Yeah, in Star Wars The Last Jedi, they had the porgs or whatever, those annoying little screeching things that kept irritating Chewbacca. Yeah, it was just a toy. That's all it was. There's no background to it. There's no emotion to it. You're not taking anything from it. It's just a toy. It has no meaning. It's just there to make sales, which is lazy. And you're doing a disservice for yourself. The fact that you're prioritizing money over actually trying to make a difference and actually trying to better people, make them, critically think about things and question the world and everything else like that. You're doing a disservice to yourself, Cartoon Network, if you don't pick this up. But that's just my opinion. There might be people who disagree, and that's fine. I'm always willing to listen to everything, but there's just some things you can't change. And so it was abruptly canceled on a ginormous cliffhanger. Anybody who has watched it, it left you on a ginormous cliffhanger, and it never came back. Nobody knew, and this is 2006, so it's not like social media is ginormous and you can find everything you want to automatically like that's just not what it was at the time. And so people were uncertain what would happen to it. Nobody knew, and it just went away. And there's been many petitions in the past to bring it back, from all over the world. And I think even 12 years later, after it was canceled, I think it really shows you the impact that it has on people positively. And the fact that I'm still making this video, and that there's other people out there who are making videos about this and are passionate about it, that speaks way more volumes than your sales. It absolutely does. And the fact that Teen Titans Go takes up half of, Western TV schedule time, as opposed to like elsewhere where it's a lot more broken up and stuff like that, and you actually have a good diversity of shows, as opposed to having half of your block one show in Teen Titans Go, that should say something to you. It's because you're losing people, and I know I'm not the target demographic for Teen Titans Go. I understand that. But you shouldn't be treating these people like children who are watching it now when you didn't do it to me. You shouldn't do that to them. You should be better than that, and try and teach them life lessons, and try to teach them the value of friendship, and to truly fight for what you're passionate about, and everything else like that. But a lot of it now is just haha humor, no stakes, no real storytelling. It's just a bullshit episode, and then that's it. Nobody gives a fuck. No one cares. People care about this stuff. This stuff 12 years later, that's coming back. Hopefully. We'll see. And that's just what people care about. So I'll kind of go through the list of the characters and what I think about all of it, and we'll kind of go from there. We'll kind of do the characters first, and then we'll move more into the storytelling, and then we'll go from there. So first off, we'll go with Robin. He is the leader of the Teen Titans. And Dick Grayson, he is the first Robin under the tutelage of Batman. He is adopted, and and don't even get me started on Titans, the TV, the live action. Don't even get me started on that. I'll kick someone's ass for it. But Robin is definitely the leader of the group. He is the only one who does not have any powers. Granted, Cyborg does have cybernetics in him, but he's still, able to do things that Robin wouldn't be able to. But I think it shows just the uniqueness of Robin. And obviously it's kind of ironic for me to say, because there's multiple Robins, and but he is the only one who becomes Nightwing. But I think it speaks to the uniqueness of Dick Grayson, I'll say that. And I think it's kind of a fascination people have with Batman, in the fact that he doesn't have any superpowers. He can't fly. He doesn't have super strength. He doesn't have super speed. He doesn't have any of that. He's the closest thing anybody can ascertain to being a hero. In a sense, in the extreme scale. There's heroes every single day that don't wear capes. And you don't have to be a hero to do the right thing. And I think a lot of people have a fascination with Batman because he is a badass character. He's able to hold his own regardless of what the odds are. And that's the same thing I see in Dick Grayson. Even though he doesn't have powers, he's still one of the most dangerous characters in the entire universe. He still has that potential. When properly trained, when properly prepared and stuff like that, he can take on anybody, no matter what the odds are. He's able to do it. I think he essentially he essentially does it through sheer willpower. He wills himself to be better. He wills himself to not be complacent and to always learn and to keep evolving and stay one step ahead. He always tries to get the upper hand and to always adapt to the situations regardless of what they are. And I think that's really the most unique trait, and probably out of everybody in the group, I think he's the only one that truly holds that trait. And you can obviously see that he cares very, very much about his friend because they're family. There's no distinction in this group whether they're friends or family. It's one in the same. But he always puts his own life at risk, and he never wants to jeopardize his friends no matter what. And you can see that in the storyline where he becomes Slade's apprentice in season 1 and does his bidding for him. And just a really unique character. Obviously his biggest flaws are his obsession with Slade and trying to figure out the truth. And he's even if his body is exhausted and destroyed, he still mentally keeps going. He still mentally keeps going, and he keeps going out of pure willpower. Jesus Christ. He just doesn't stop. He just keeps moving forward. He doesn't go back. He keeps chugging forward regardless of what's in his path. And so it's a fantastic character who is probably the most popular out of all the Teen Titans. And I think deservedly so, because I feel a lot of people really connect with him on the level of him being a human being, and he's not a special individual with these gifts. He's an individual who took hours and hours and days and months and years and decades. He took he took what he had, and he fined it. He crushed it down into a diamond. He perfected his art. And that's, you can't get that by just being born with super strength or anything like that. That's you working every single day, grinding every single day to get to where you are now. And that's Robin. So the next person I want to talk about is probably the second most popular character, and my friend Matt is a huge fan of this character, and that's Raven. So Raven, out of everybody on the group, is probably the most troubled of all the Teen Titans, but I don't want you to assume that just because she looks ominous and her character is very shut out, I don't want you to assume that as weakness, because that's where she'll truly get you. And she's probably the character out of all 5 of them who's most afraid of her potential. Whether that's good or evil, that could depend on her. And we can see that in her storyline where her father, Trigon, is coming to Earth, because the prophecy said on this day the portal will open. The portal is Raven, and Trigon will rule. And you can see many instances of her troubled mind, where in the episode Cyborg and Beast Boy go into her mind, and you see the many different sides of Raven. You see fun Raven, you see serious Raven, dark, depressed, goofy, smart. You see all of those different sides, but at the end, when you put them all together, you see true Raven. And this side right here, this photo you see right here, that's just one side of Raven. And she's out of all 5 of the Teen Titans, she's probably the most powerful out of all of them. And I mean, deservedly so. She's insanely gifted with her powers. And I think her biggest attribute also, like Robin, is the fact that even when the prophecy is coming to fruition or when there is danger, she wants to never put her friends at risk and to always put herself first when it comes to danger, and to never ever try and jeopardize the people she truly cares about. Because her growing up being very isolated, her father is a fucking demon spawn from hell, and they took her in regardless of where she came from, how she acted, who she is, what her past is. They took her in as family, and that's not easy for a lot of people in the real world. That's difficult, but it's something you can never truly break, regardless of the trials and tribulations that you have with these people. And I think it's a testament to Raven as a character, that even though she has all these problems and all this supernatural stuff that's happening, she still tries to be the best that she can and to always protect what she truly cares about. Trying to think if there's really anything else I want to say about Raven. I'm sure there'll be a billion things I want to say about Raven after the video, I'm sure. But I can already tell this at 30 minutes. This is going to be a long video. And so I'll end it there. Yeah, like, look at her abilities, dude. Like, you have empathy, Dark Raven, healing capacity to project her soul self, telepathy, telekinesis, flight, teleportation, dark magic. You serious? Like, my god. Hold on, I want to go back here to Robin's abilities. Skilled acrobat and aerialist, skilled martial artist in hand-to-hand combat, expert detective, utilizes high-tech equipment and weapons. That's nothing you're born with. That's something you develop. So the next person I'll talk about, just because they're right here on the list, is Starfire. Starfire, I feel, is definitely the glue for the team. She's the bubbly one. She's the one who's always positive out of the group for the most part. She's the glue that always brings the team together, even in their darkest hours. She's always the one who brings up the rest of the team's morale to really rise above it. And she does sometimes have her character flaws, which in a good storytelling and in a great show, it's always important to have character flaws and something that's relatable, because I feel being relatable to characters is probably one of the more impactful things that a story can do for you, and you can really try and put yourself in their shoes. And that's why I think this has the longevity and the positivity that it does, is because it's so good at that. And Starfire is afraid that she doesn't want to be judged by the people that she cares about most in her life, which is her friends. And she doesn't want to be alienated by them. She doesn't want to be left out, because that's really all she has. And she has, a few other people on Tamaran, her home planet, but other than that, she doesn't really have anybody else. And it's the same thing as Raven. Like, all of these people are misfits in their in their own unique way. They don't belong, but as a group, it's a dynamic that you can't really ever fully appreciate. It's something that goes beyond bonds and love and everything else like that. It's something that you can't take away. And that's why I think this team's so unique when done correctly. And Starfire is she doesn't want to lose that. She doesn't want to lose that uniqueness, and she doesn't want to be judged by the people she truly cares about, especially in the episode where she starts to go into metamorphosis, because she's growing up and she has the like the horn on her forehead, and she has the long fingernails or the spikes coming out of her neck, and she runs away because she's afraid of what everybody else will think of her. She's afraid of that judgment, and she doesn't want that from the people who she looks up to the most. And at the end of the episode, she obviously gets I was gonna say eye bolts, but they're not bolts, they're just eye beams, essentially. She shoots star bolts. So I'll say star beams. Star eye beams, sure. And the team doesn't care what she looks like, because it's not what she looks like, it's who she is as a character. It's who she is as a person. And that's what they truly care about the most. But she's definitely the one who tries to bring the team together, no matter how stacked the odds are. And I won't say in a way that Starfire is a supporting character, but I think she's the one that's always there, willing to catch you. And that's unique stuff in friends who are able to provide that for you, who are able to catch you when you fall and when you need it, but are also there to push you forward when you're afraid, and when you truly need it. And Starfire's hot, dude, and fucking badass. Like the amount of times in the show where there'll be like a big bad villain that'll be so unassuming of Starfire and be like, oh, look at this little girl, she absolutely kicks their ass, is hilarious. It's just like, because you just assume, and you're just like, you know, it's just a little girl, and then you get your ass beat. And it's hilarious. So the next person I want to talk about is Beast Boy. Beast Boy comes from the Doom Patrol comic, November 1965. I'm blocking it. It's up here. And so he had that run for a while, and then eventually he didn't quite agree, I believe, with what Doom Patrol was doing. So he later joined the Titans, and so he is a shapeshifter of creatures, of animals. Unique power, and it plays very well in the show because he can do a lot of comedy bits, and you know, have really funny moments with the with different creatures that he turns into. And Beast Boy is essentially the class clown out of everybody there. He's always there to make everybody laugh. He's always there to poke fun. Even sometimes it might be at his own expense. And but I think a big part to take from Beast Boy is that he doesn't always want to be viewed as just the funny guy, because he does have emotions, he does have feelings, and sometimes he does want to be taken seriously. And I think in his story arc, he kind of starts to grow up a lot more and to truly question himself and who he really is as a person. And he doesn't always want to just be the laugh track. He can be both. He can be the class clown, but at the same time, if he turns serious, you should, you know, treat him as being serious. And he's very self-aware of stuff and a lot of his actions, and his priorities aren't always in line for what you should, you know, deem as an important priority. But at the end of the day, regardless of what the odds are and what the team is facing or what he's facing, you know that he's going to be reliable and he's going to get it done. And he's going to, I mean, I would say he puts himself in front of others. He occasionally does, I mean, throughout his storyline, he does it a lot more for the team. But in a lot of other stuff, but he does it in a comical way when he's like, if a supervillain does something amazing, and Beast Boy's like, oh hell no, dude, I ain't touching that, I ain't doing anything with that. More comedic bits, but he has a good balance of being serious and being emotional, especially with the storyline with Terra, and you know, finding love and learning to accept reality and learning to accept individuals and being able to understand one another and be able to communicate that. So great character, always funny. And the first thing when I think of Beast Boy that comes to mind is in the episode where they have a horror movie night at the tower, and the whole, and it was an episode with Control Freak, but he was never really in it, and Raven is actually spooking everybody in the tower because of her fear, but she doesn't want to tell anybody that she's afraid, because, you know, her facade, and she doesn't want, you know, people to feel that she's weak, which she isn't. And so she's terrifying the tower, and there's one part where they go to the, like, the trophy room, essentially, to where Control Freak's remote control is, that they got previously at the very beginning of the episode, and it's still there. And then he gets, like, one of the giant arms come out of the wall. One of Raven's dark magic projections come out and grabs him and pulls him back in. He's like, see, I told you guys, funny guy goes first. Because it's like a movie trope in a way. Like, if you'd be like, oh, the black guy dies first, or, you know, you have your stereotypical jock, cheerleader, geek, goth, you know, right? And then maybe somebody who's like kind of in the middle, but you usually have like a main five. And so it's more of like a movie trope. And that's always the first thing I think of with Beast Boy, because it's just like him just talking about how, like, it's a trope that is like the funny guy has to go first. Of course it's me, because he always talks about how he's the funniest, how he's the most handsome of the group. And always love me some Beast Boy. I love the whole team, and unique characters and very well written story. And so the last one is Cyborg. Cyborg is obviously cyborg, half man, half machine, and he had a tough time growing up being, I mean, he was obviously a jock growing up, so you kind of, in a way, you have your different groups. You have your jock in Cyborg, you have your cheerleader in Starfire, you have your comedian in Beast Boy, you have your goth in Raven, and then Robin's kind of like your maybe middle of the road moral person in the group. So you essentially kind of, in a way, you have that same trope that I was just talking about. But Cyborg having to live in a harsh reality where he doesn't want to be judged by human beings because he is half man and half machine. And I think his biggest weakness is himself. Throughout most of the whole series, is really trying to find a true identity in himself, and to really find a distinction between the man and the machine. And you can see him go through it throughout the whole series, and really try and grow, and really try and figure out who he truly is. And he's kind of still uncertain when it comes to people who aren't in his main group, because he is afraid that he will be judged harshly for who he is, and just what he looks like, and not who he actually is as a character or as a person at all. Not what he truly feels or what he thinks, just what he looks like, judging a book by its cover. And I think he really starts to break the mold well, I mean, a lot of people will turn to Titans East when he becomes the leader of Titans East, and he has to be in charge of Bumblebee, Speedy, Aqualad, Más o Menos, and he becomes leader of that group and showing his individuality as opposed to just being like a minor character in the group who just says booyah and just shoots rays from his arms. And I think I see it the most. The episode that really hits me the most when it comes to Cyborg is the episode where he has to battle Atlas. And essentially in the episode, Atlas beats the Titans. Like it's like a super, like it's like the opening scene. He beats the Titans, and then he takes the other four except for Cyborg as trophies. And he was like, well, if you think you're good enough, you can come fight me. And so Cyborg goes to fight Atlas the very first time, and he has a like a reader on his arm to show his like capacity, how much he can handle. And throughout the fight, he's slowly reaching 100% capacity, and he's slowly reaching his limit. And he eventually loses the battle because he finally reaches his capacity and he can't go any further. So he leaves in defeat, and he really sits there and reflects. And you can sit there and you can try and build as much muscle as you can and keep working out and bulking your body up and stuff like that, but essentially at the end of it, he has to finally get over the hurdle that it's not this right here. It's mentally and emotionally. He needs to clear those hurdles, because that's what's holding him back. It's not him physically that's holding him back. It's himself mentally and emotionally. So once he finally clears that hurdle, he goes back again to fight Atlas at the end of the episode. And they're fighting again, and he's getting back up to capacity, and then he gets up to capacity again, and then the same thing happens. Atlas is like, well, you've reached your limit, and that's it. And Cyborg, determined to get his friends back, and determined to, I think, ultimately prove to himself, more so than Atlas or his friends, to prove to himself that there's not a limit on what you can do. And so when it reaches 100% capacity, he goes to the next gear, and he breaks his reader, and it bumps up to 110, 120, 130%. And he ultimately defeats Atlas and saves his friends. And so then they're talking at the end of it about how they're going to have to get him a new reader, a new scanner, and Cyborg's essentially saying that he's like, I don't need it anymore. There's no point in it, because there's a distinction. This is just a part of my body, but that's not who I am. I'm a human being, and I know I have my flaws, but there's nothing that can stop me if I truly put my mind to it. It's not what's in here when he's touching his cybernetic side of his brain, because he's like, it's not what's in here, it's what's in here that counts. Talk about his heart. And if you truly are passionate about something, and if you truly believe that you can, you will. It doesn't matter what limits are set in place or what anybody else says. If you can overcome that, that's it. That's game over. You can accomplish any of it. And I think that's probably the most impactful out of all the episodes, is that Cyborg proves that you can truly you can truly conquer those things that are impossible, and you can jump over all those hurdles that you believed once were impossible to ever accomplish. And it just speaks volumes about who he is as a character. Just because he has cybernetics in him doesn't mean that he's not a human being, and that doesn't mean that he's only set to this and he can only accomplish what he already has. He can continue to improve. but that's why he has to prove a lot more mentally and emotionally. And he's done so much already with physically, growing up with how he did in cybernetics and being athletically gifted. And so it speaks so much about him. And so I want to talk about, Jesus, it's already 50 minutes. Holy shit. So I want to talk about the storyline next. And like I said earlier, the difference between a good and a great show is a storyline. Something that's entertaining is good. Something that makes you question things or makes you really think about topics or to really have an impact on you is a great show. And that's what Teen Titans does. Teen Titans is a great show that's able to have a beautiful balance of having dark and serious themes about issues that you might encounter in the real world and growing up, because these are teens, and truly shows you the value of being passionate about what you truly care about and truly fighting for that, and to be persistent and to share it with people who are unfamiliar with it. And so they're able to have a good balance of that, and then they're also able to have a good balance of comedy and fun and silliness with a lot of the Japanese art style stuff that they occasionally incorporated in the end of the jokes, like Raven saying, "Evil beware, we have waffles," or anything else like that. It's just amazing the fact that a show like this can have an impact, especially on somebody like me and a lot of other people out there who are still passionate about it, who are just going crazy for season 6, because I truly think it's something that they deserve, that they've stuck around this long. And then they, like I said, yeah, obviously I'm biased since I'm making the video, but the fact that they would fight for this because they are passionate about it, they are persistent about it, they are willing to try and share this with people who might not know, or be able to share ideas. And that can range anything from, the show gives you so much. It gives you life lessons, it can give you philosophical lessons, it can give you comedy and entertainment, it gives you sad moments, it gives you heartwarming moments, it can give you all of that stuff. And it's truly unique. It's a truly unique gift that this show is able to have that. A show that ran for less than 3 years on Cartoon Network. A show that was able to do that, had that kind of impact. And it's inspirational. And, you know, at the end of this life, you just, you die. But something like this, you're able to take into the real world. And you're able to take the lessons and not sit there and think that everything in the world is black and white, that a majority of it is gray, and it's muddied and it's complicated. And I'll say the quote that's on my ribs, and it's from Robin from Teen Titans, and it's there is good and there is evil. There are those who commit crime and those who stop them. These two sides are opposite, as different as night and day, and the line between them is clear, or at least it's supposed to be. Because the world's not black and white. Most of it's gray, it's complicated, it has a billion different outcomes. It's never black and white. Sometimes scenarios are, and some things are, you know, very just cutthroat. But most of the time, most of life is a gray landscape, and there's not really a guide to how to do it properly and to be successful or anything like that, or else everybody would be successful in life and everybody would be happy. But you have so many different circumstances involved in it. And so the show really teaches you lessons. It really tries to get you thinking about everything around you outside of this television show that's happening. And I think a unique thing, and especially at the time when Toonami was doing stuff like this, I think the writers at the time, although initially wanted the demographic to be from 6 to 11, and it started reaching older audiences because they started incorporating realer themes, darker themes, stuff that's more serious, stuff that's sad and upsetting and hurtful and painful to watch. And so it started having a bigger demographic of people that they never expected it to have. And that's just because they're able to give you this realism. They're able to have so many different avenues in the show that you're able to have little kids that are 6 years old, and you can have people who are 15, 16, 17, mid 20s able to be interested in this show. And fuck, what was my train of thought on that? It's just a unique ability that the storyline is able to hold up. And granted, there are some episodes where it is kind of meh, but for the most part, you have so many questions, and you're trying to figure it out, and you're trying to figure out who Red X is, and you're trying to figure out just so many questions about this universe outside of this TV show. Just so many questions that you have. And this show, you know, it tries to help you along the way. It tries to teach you what it is to be passionate, and what to truly fight for what you believe in, and to truly trust the people who care about you the most, and to always fight for them, and to always fight for yourself. And it's just something special with it. And what was else I gonna say? Storyline, I mean, morals and impact, I pretty much just summarized it right there as well. It's had a major impact on me because it's brought in a lot of the stuff that I've learned from the TV show into real life about, like I said, being passionate about the things, like me talking about this, truly fighting for what you believe in, being persistent, trying to share, have open dialogue, try to be understanding. And I know sometimes, especially in the show, sometimes friendships aren't easy. Everybody doesn't see eye to eye all the time, and sometimes it's difficult to maintain that. And that's how life is. It's not easy. That's why you always have to fight for what you truly believe in. That's why you always have to fight for the people who have your back. That's why you have to fight for those people in need who truly need it, who don't have anybody else. That's what it means. And that show did it for me. That show taught me, yeah, the team deals with all manner of criminal activities and threats to the city while dealing with their own struggles with adolescence, their mutual friendships, and their limitations. And me growing up watching this, it was in a way a self-reflection of myself. It taught me the value of having friends who truly care, and being able to fight for the things that I love, regardless of how ridiculous it may seem, and to push past my own limitations, even when I think that I can't do it. And that's truly something I don't think any other show will have an impact in my life, except for Teen Titans. I don't think I'll ever experience it again in my life when it comes to a TV show that has that kind of impact. And so I want to move over to season 6. So the 6th season of Teen Titans is the final season of the animated series. The 6th season takes place where the 5th season had left out, and this makes Tara's 23rd reappearance, and it's to air on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim Toonami, if determined, for 2019. So you can see they have the voice actors back. Robin, Red X, Starfire, Beast Boy. You have the whole list of characters on here. And the opening intro. So I will give you a little background here real fast. So easy way, if you are new to Teen Titans, or if you never knew, if you did grow up watching Teen Titans and you never knew the fact that if the opening intro song, which was sang by Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which it was the group, which is this group right there, and they actually had their own show at one point. I remember watching that too, and always playing the game online. But whenever the intro song was sung in English, it was a more serious episode and more of a life lesson episode, stuff like that. If the intro song was in Japanese, that means it's more of a lighthearted, more of a silly, over the top episode that you shouldn't take more seriously. It's much more entertainment, and I think that was always awesome. That when a new episode came out and you go to sit down, when the opening intro comes up, it'll let you know it's not going to spoil it for you, but it's going to be like, all right, this is a more serious episode, so you can kind of like prepare and be like, okay, well, what's this about? Or if it's more just like a feel good laugh kind of an episode. And I think that was something that was always fucking incredible. But apparently Jesus, 34 episodes. Are they really gonna do that? Are you just bullshitting me? Metroid Prime 4? I don't know, dude. So now I can stop following this page. Don't put it on Adult Swim. So yeah, that's another thing that they're discussing right now, is if they want to do it on Adult Swim or if they want to do it on Cartoon Network's Toonami. Either way, I don't really see where you can go wrong, because you still have everybody. I'm sure both Adult Swim and Toonami have reinvented their genres and reinvented the atmosphere around them. And they're two very unique, two very impactful groups, because that's what I grew up with. A lot of people, they grew up with MTV as their main impact and other stuff like that. For me, it was Adult Swim, it was Toonami. That's what impacted me the most. That's what raised me into who I am today. It teaches you life lessons that you're going to carry until the day you die, and it's fucking unique. The lines script 1, if that's okay with you guys. Oh, dude, there's script stuff. Do not edit this article. Those Adult Swim pictures are fake, that's why. Oh, okay, so it will air on Cartoon Network? Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully it is true and they're not just being assholes about it. So then I maybe really never have needed to do this video about why they deserve it. But I will, with my closing thoughts, tell you why I feel they do deserve it. Because I feel Teen Titans deserves a season 6 for 3 main things. Number 1, closure. I feel the people who have stuck around with Teen Titans for this long, that are passionate and persistent and still craving Teen Titans that they did when the very first episode came out 15 years ago, they deserve that closure, and you need to give that to them. And there's no reason why you shouldn't. They deserved it, because they've been loyal this whole time and always trying to fight for what they truly care about, and this is the result of it. It's the voice of the people. Second thing, Cartoon Network should do this for themselves, because if they don't, they're doing a disservice to their fan base. And I know people will be like, well, you're not the demographic. I understand, but Cartoon Network and the way that your sales and everything else was going, you're the one that buried yourself. I didn't do that. You kicked me out. I didn't kick you out. You abandoned us, and that's the result of it. That's why I feel left out. That's why people feel left out about it. That's why they wanted Teen Titans back as opposed to Teen Titans Go. They feel left out, they feel abandoned, even though being so loyal for all this time, even though being so passionate and fighting for you this whole time. And then number 3, you need to look past the sales and the rating numbers And you need to truly look at what the impact it has on people around the world. Because without Teen Titans, a lot of things that I carry with me now, I wouldn't have. And there's only one show out there that truly had that impact on me as a human being, and to raise myself above and to care and fight and persist and to truly never give up regardless of what's in my path. And that's because of Teen Titans.